Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody, your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. I'm Bob Matthews. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of it. Commanders coming in for treatment and watching film on Monday. They are off today. They will start back on the practice field on Wednesday as they get ready for Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears, who are coming off a bye. Now, Dan Quinn did meet with reporters on Monday, as he always does. It is one of those things that happens every week in the NFL now that we're kind of getting into the rhythm of everything. Quinn talked about a lot of stuff, specifically a lot of the players that he said looked really, really good. I'm going to get to one of them on defense in a second, but just, talking about the guys on offense that he thought looked great. Loved what he saw, as I think we all did, out of Bill Krosky-Merritt. One of the things that Quinn talked about was Bill's vision and his cuts. He says he sees the field really, really well and makes a really quick, and the word he used, violent cut. And is just, you could not be, more complimentary about the way he played. Remember, the reason that Merritt wasn't on the field as an every down back, say, at the beginning of the season, was because of the little things and the things that he did or didn't do without the ball. Remember, that's what Cliff Kingsbury was talking about a few weeks ago. Clearly, things like pass blocking, picking up the blitz, stuff like that. Clearly, he has improved on that. They've rewarded him with more carries, and you can see he is starting to realize his potential. Talked a lot about the defense. Thought they played really, really well, as, again, we all did. Singled out Daron Payne and Javon Kinlaw as having really, really good games up front. I agree. It was funny because I was watching the All-22 earlier today. I wanted to do a deep dive on Daron Payne for an article we're going to have up on sportsjourney.com here probably later today. And as I was looking at Payne, it was Kinlaw's play that was jumping out at me, just as much as Daron's. Now, neither one of them, if you look at the stat sheet, really filled up the stat sheet that much. But again, because of what they are supposed to do, which is take up space, create havoc on the line so that the linebackers can come in and make the play, that's exactly what both of them did. And it was one of the reasons that, the defense had as good a day as it did. He also mentioned Johnny Newton. Remember, the Mike Sanderstill interception on the goal line, that doesn't happen if Newton doesn't tip that Justin Herbert pass. And that was one of the plays, I think, that really turned the game around. So, Quinn pointing both of them, all three of them out, as well as saying that he loved the game that Jayden Daniels played, under control, not trying to do everything himself, playing, kind of within himself there, and it showed. And he said that it was just great to have him back, and also, to have him there, have him self-aware enough to protect himself on some of those runs, because believe me, I know what we were all thinking on seeing a lot of those. We'll get to that in a little while. Another guy that Quinn talked about, and I totally agree with him on, was the play of Marshon Lattimore. Marshon's gotten a lot of flack here the first part of the season, but really played a very, very solid game. Aside from that one crossing route where Keenan Allen got free in the first quarter on that big, long gain, Marshon played a really, really solid game. You see it if you take stock in PFF grades. He had a pretty good PFF grade. But just looking at the tape, and I'm about halfway through Lattimore's game now as we record this, he really, I have not as of yet seen him get beat on a play. And that's, considering the first 4 weeks of the season, that's saying something. He spent a lot of time, locking down whoever the Chargers had in the game as their first option. Most of the time that was Quentin Johnson. A couple of times it was Keenan Allen. But so far, in what I've seen going back over it, and I still got to look at a little bit more, Lattimore looked really good and was with his guy step for step. Great coverage on Sunday. As for Terry McLaurin, Quinn talked about him as well. We are still waiting to see if McLaurin plays on Monday night against the Bears. Let's see, let me find exactly what it was that he said about McLaurin. Quinn said, we're optimistic. We'll have more information as the week goes to see where he and Noah Brown obviously are at, and Sam Cosmi. Remember, Cosmi's not supposed to be back until the end of the month, but if he can play and he's off, he's in that window now. They're trying to get him back. So he says the three of those guys and a few other kind of trending in the right way. We'll make sure we take all the right steps just like we do with all the guys. If they're able to fully express how they play and do the things, then we're there. And if not, we'll just have to keep waiting, but we won't decide yet. Having an extra day, that never hurts going into it. Does that mean we see McLaurin back on the field this week? Still kind of think we don't. I think they want him as close to 100% as they can get him. Obviously, Terry wants that back out there about 2.5 weeks ago. So, he's going to do, we know, everything to get back. If he can get back, it's a huge lift for this offense. But remember, one of the things, and we'll talk about this more in film study tomorrow, but one of the most encouraging signs from the offense Sunday against the Chargers was how well all of the young guys played. Again, we will go over that a little bit more on film study tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead and check the mailbox. We absolutely love it when you guys send us some comments. Our question of the day today: do you think they need Terry back for this game against the Bears? Bears defense has not been real good so far this year. And, hey, the offense did pretty well, I'd say, without him. And with Debo and McCaffrey and Jalen Lane and everybody else picking up the slack. Shout out Terry Windsor, 9779. Terry's one of our biggest fans, and we appreciate it. Terry said, did anybody else have horrible flashbacks to RG3 when they saw JD5 take the field with that brace on his knee? And did anyone else cringe when he ran into tackles and see him go down, hoping he didn't twist it horribly? Yes, I absolutely agree with you, Terry. I was one of those that had those 2012 flashbacks and probably will for a couple of more weeks. But I thought Jayden looked real good, and I've got a good feeling about the way this one's going. Michael Robertson, 73-97. The refs were different yesterday. They called penalties on the Chargers when the Chargers committed penalties. They usually don't do that when the Commanders are playing. They usually let the opposing team just go down the field holding, never call any of the fouls. Wow, with honest refs, Washington can win some games. Well said, Michael. Well said. I got to be honest with you, I thought the refs called it way, way too tight and disrupt the flow of the game. But, hey, winning is the perfect anecdote for everything. It worked out well, so we will take it. It's going to do it for us. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Be back tomorrow. Do a little film study here for you, and we'll talk about what we liked and what we didn't like after digesting the All-22. See you tomorrow. Remember, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.